All right, wonderful. So, morning, Preeti. Thank you so much for joining this special parenting talk. Um,
Good
Very
morning.
useful conversation. I've gone through your profile. I've seen the work you do. I've seen the blogs you write. I know how much you worked on your son. So there are lots of questions. Normally, I don't do a lot of questions, but seeing the kind of plethora of experiences you had, I thought we'll go through a lot of things so that um, parents who might be approaching teenagehood or around that age will be able to gather a lot more um, tips and techniques and ideas from you. So before we start, I'll give a quick introduction about you, Preeti, for the context of parents, and then you may add more before we begin. Not just professionally qualified in the space of neurodiversity, she's also a proud mother to a young man, 23-year-old, her son, who's also on the spectrum. And he is doing a lot of fabulous work that she will talk about in our conversation. Preeti, before I start, do you wish to add something to this?
No, that's all. I like to thank Ayurveda for this opportunity and to all the parents and professionals who have joined. First of all, wish you all a very happy Mahashivratri.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, I'll do a combination of English and Hindi as you
बिल्कुल
suggested.
बढ़िया आप Yes, a lot of our parents also come from south of India. While most of them do understand, I feel कि तो मुझे भी आदत हो गई है basically. I've become used to speaking in one language, but I would say that yes, please maintain a healthy mix. If there's an important point that you're communicating, I would request you to repeat it in both the languages because ultimately my goal is for them, and this really helps them, by the way. I want to tell you that we have gotten I would say handful of parents for these series.
Mhm.
And we get messages from parents later on saying how much certain things, you never know what you say strikes what chord with whom. So, chalo, let's begin.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to take you back to your early motherhood days, Preeti. Um, when you look back, now since your son is 23 years old almost, now when you look back at your early parenting years, what do you wish someone had told you then?
All right. So, first of all, I just wanted to complete my Shivratri message for the parents before
बिल्कुल
I answer this.
बिल्कुल
So I was
Yes.
just wondering this morning कि कई मायनों में मेरी और आपकी जर्नी शिवरात्रि की स्पिरिट को रिफ्लेक्ट करती है. ये आपसे resilience मांगती है, the capacity to bounce back after a fall, surrender मांगती है कि आप पूरी तरह से अपने आप को समर्पण करें, uncertainty में faith बनाए रखने का मैसेज देती है. जैसे शिवजी ध्यान में लीन रहते हैं, वैसे ही आप सब पेरेंट्स, आप हर दिन पूरी डिवोशन, करेज और प्यार के साथ खड़े रहते हैं. सो हैट्स ऑफ टू ऑल ऑफ यू.
Very true.
And going back to my journey, when I was a young mother and I was not connected professionally to the field of special education, I was also somehow totally unaware of the word autism. So Abhigyan, my elder one, who's 23, is on the spectrum. He was diagnosed when he was around 2 years and 4 months of age. That was almost the same time when my younger one was born. I still remember the day when I was carrying the younger one back home from the hospital, and my husband shared that Abhigyan has a condition called autism. Before that, we had been seeing some signs after 1.5 years of his growth, which was quite normal. Regression happened in terms of his milestones, whereas babbling and walking, everything came in time, but suddenly वो सब रुक गया था. And therefore, we started visiting pediatricians, and further consultation started. So when this word autism was, you know, there for me, I thought कि शायद ये कुछ एक छोटे से फीवर की तरह है,
Mm,
मामूली
mm,
खांसी बुखार है, शायद थोड़ा लंबा भी हो सकता है, ठीक हो जाएगा. I was not aware at all how this word will affect my
mm,
life, the life
mm,
of my family, and how's the journey going to be in the future. So I
mm,
just wish had some professionals given me that insight, I would have been able to, plan better. My fears would have been less. But it was only during the course of my journey that learnings happened. So when I brought him back home, my younger one, so I was now a mother to two. I had to quit my corporate job which I've been working for about 6 years in the corporate sector,
mm,
and my time used to be divided between caring the little one and accompanying Abhi for different consultations.
mm,
So
yeah.
Abhi was in a mainstream school. We were in Faridabad that time, but the school was not able to understand his needs.
Mm,
And they never directly told us to just let him be out of the system, but we had all the feelers. I'll give you a very small instance. Once
mm,
I remember the teacher sharing with me कि क्लास में ना कभी भी खड़ा हो जाता है और चलने
mm,
लगता है, तो बहुत
mm,
बच्चे डिस्टर्ब होते हैं, आप कुछ करो, इसको बताओ कि ऐसा
mm,
ठीक नहीं है. He was
mm,
barely 2.5 that time,
mm,
or maybe quarter to three. So when I was listening to this conversation and I was thinking in my mind कि इनको educate करना पड़ेगा autism के बारे में, और उसके बारे में पहले मैं खुद जानकारी लूं. As I came out, a elderly teacher must be in her 50s or so. मैंने देखा है, बार बार खड़ा हो जाता है. एक काम करो, इसको पूरा दिन धूप में यहीं खड़ी रखूंगी जब तक ये बात नहीं मानता. So she was trying punishment as a technique to give him that message. That also made me understand that this is not the place where he is to be. And I
yeah.
had to take a call as to,
Yeah.
enroll him in a place where they understand him better, his needs better, and therefore the right support could come in. So we took a very hard decision when he was about 2.5 or so. He was enrolled in a special school, and we used to take him to Delhi from Faridabad 4 days a week. And one day in the week, I continued in his mainstream school, another one, a smaller one in the locality, so that he could get experience of being
Mm,
with
mm,
neurotypical peers, because a lot of learning happens that way.
mm,
So this mix continued for about 2 years or so. Learning was happening, but at a very slow pace. And I was also looking for options so that he could go to an integrated setup or an inclusive setup and be there 5 days in a week. So that was my journey till he was 4. And we were still looking for options in the city where we resided, Faridabad. We approached schools. We told them about special needs. We told them that special care has to be taken and staff has to be employed. We were ready to fund certain institutions also, but
mm,
nothing was working out. So that is the time when I came to know about the early intervention services of Shri Ram School in Vasant Vihar. Abhigyan went there for a year also. 3 days a week we used to go from Faridabad to Vasant Vihar for therapies. Still, I was feeling that something is lacking because therapies in bits and pieces are not, giving him that complete picture or complete experience for a healthy growth. So, to our good luck, we got a call from Heritage School in Gurgaon when he was 5, and we decided to enroll him in the Heritage School in the special wing. Even though he was enrolled and was a part of the special section for about 11 years, there was a bigger community in the heritage school. We would meet during common fairs, PTMs, and also seeing कि अभिज्ञान को रोज मॉर्निंग में लेके जाना और लेके आना तो पड़ेगा ही. So I enrolled my younger one also in the same school, thinking we would gradually shift to the same city. But as time about 8 years passed, and we were still continuing to do up and down from Faridabad
mm,
every day.
mm,
Children used to get exhausted. I had to
mm,
look for jobs which could fit in that time frame on picking them and dropping them. So my career was also yeah. Before that, I'll tell you, when he got enrolled in Heritage, that is the time I thought that I've been attending workshops, I've been reading books, seeing whatever information I could get around me. Why not qualify myself professionally to be a part of this field, help myself and help many other like Abhigyan? That's why that's around 2008 when I started my degree in special education. So I was studying for about 3 to 4 years to enter this new field and parallelly working in setups like clinics, in special schools, in the special wings of mainstream schools, till I finally joined Shiv Nadar School, and I'm a part of this great institution for
mm,
the past 12 years
mm,
now.
mm, mm.
So that was a part of my journey, which was happening
Yeah.
alongside Abhigyan's journey.
Mm. But
So,
I want to go back to this point because my
yeah.
second point was actually on the transition to adulthood.
Hmm.
So your early motherhood days, and then many of the parents they who have younger children who will eventually be listening to this. So most of Ayurved's community, I think, I believe, is of younger children. And most of them that we speak to on a daily basis, they worry about adulthood. I
Hmm.
want your very specific inputs here because you have walked that path now. What shifts happen when the child transitions into their 20s, both emotionally and practically, for both you as a parent and for the child?
All right. So, as we all know, in younger age, we might see progress in children with special needs, specifically on the spectrum, but it is subtle. Progress is happening, but you cannot, do something and get the results instantly the
Mm,
next day, the next week, or the next month. It's a
mm,
gradual process.
mm,
And the struggle I feel in the early childhood is much more than in the
mm,
later years when the child has completed his teens, because by then we know where the interest of the child lies. Something or the other will work out because every child has a talent we just need to explore. He might not be the best in that field, but there is something of his interest which we can take forward. We can train him specifically and help him be, be a productive member of the class, productive member of the family, and finally the bigger community.
mm,
So that's how I feel this transition from early childhood to teenage, where we give them exposure of different places and come to know that this is where the interest lies. For example, with Abhigyan, when we enrolled him for a pre-vocational setup, COVID just happened that time.
mm, mm,
So, in between, whenever the one wave had ended, the other wave before the other wave started, there was a time when things were open. That's the time I gave him different exposures. So
mm,
he was interning in a data research firm. There was a job coach, and we found that wherever in whichever organization you go, you need to know how to enter an organization, punch in, interact. Social interaction being one of the main challenges in autism. Whatever work is given by the supervisor, you complete that work and submit at the end of the day. So these were the skills we were trying to inculcate in him, and also see his interest, whether he is ready for this kind of a setup or not. Secondly, we then tried to put him in a bakery of a five-star hotel,
mm.
wherein he was there for about 2 and 2.5 months. I was his job coach. I used to take him after coming back from school. That's the place where I realized that his interest in kitchen is much more than anywhere else.
Mm, mm,
And as time, I think it was around November of 2024, there was
mhm,
some bout of illness that he had, because of which there was everything was off. We could not go to the therapy center, we could not go to the schools, we could not go outside. He had to remain in the house. And that is where Abhigyan's Kitchen was born. This idea came to our mind that for years he had shelled peas and packed and we had kept in our
yeah, yeah,
refrigerator. Let's
mm,
start something from there.
yeah. Good, good, good.
So that transition
Yeah,
was much more comfortable because I could find out that this is the area of interest. Definitely
excellent.
coping
Yeah,
independently
yeah,
instantly. A lot
yeah,
of support is needed. We need
yeah.
to empathize with families who have taken such steps and
Mm,
support. The larger
mm,
community needs to come
mm,
together. So I am of
mm.
the belief that something or else is already planned for our children
Yeah, yeah.
after teenage. We just need to discover that.
Yeah, I think this is the most important point. I think that will remain for me in this session. And most of the parents who speak to us, like I said, who right now have younger children, they always bank on this. What will my child do? What will he do when he is alone and we're not there? I think this is the most important point I want people to go back with, that there is something or the other waiting for that child. And secondly, the most positive note that you said is it gets easier because they get older, they understand better. This is the toughest phase, maybe when the parents are figuring out or maybe helping the child manage himself better. But I think it's very reassuring to know that it's going to get better. I mean, I'm not in a position to comfort parents while I do, but coming from you, I think this is the most important thing. So, Preeti, thank you for that. But so, in the last bit of your conversation, you've actually covered two, three questions that I had, which was around your career shift, about around what you did with your son during COVID, and where you guys have reached. But now my next point is this is something I feel that every parent aspires also, that my child should be independent and my child should live with dignity.
Mhm.
I want to know from you, and I know a bit of what you just spoke about, the whole experience of baking or kitchen came into play, but just go a little bit deeper there that what are some small, powerful ways that parents can start building independence in their children early on?
All right. So, when I was talking about COVID, there's a lot that happened in all the homes. So, no, I could see being a special educator that there were people, there were families who were collapsing because of lack of support. There were
Mm,
families who had turned their homes into centers giving structure to the children. So,
mm,
younger or older, structure I feel is very important in autism
okay.
because it gives a lot of predictability.
Yeah.
See, mostly people on the spectrum, they are not bothered about the distant past or the distant future which is going to arrive. The beauty is that they try to live in in the present. And when Abhigyan was during the COVID days trying to see what is going to come today, we used to what we did is that we were not going to therapy centers, we were not going to schools. All the outside help that had come to home to help, that was not there. His fitness coach was not coming. So we needed to find out a way where we can create a simulation of the same kind of setting at home. So we made a schedule for Abhigyan to give him predictability, and
Yeah.
we divided the entire day into smaller sections.
Yeah.
Every minute need not be filled, but if we are able to broadly divide the day into different parts, and different
Hmm.
activities were
Hmm.
planned for different parts of the day. Also, we came together as a family. This I feel, Vandita, is very important.
Mm,
All the load cannot be taken by the primary caretaker. It has
mm.
to be the family which has
Yes.
support. So for him, what was done was in the morning when I had my online classes in the school, he would be with Dadi, watering plants, chopping vegetables, doing laundry in a fully automatic machine. Afternoon, mein, he would do some creative work with me, cold cooking. That was the time when his drawing, which was in a very nascent stage earlier, like stick figures, came up. And we created a different kind of an experience for him because we presented alphabets and digits as pictures and stick figures, since this was not coming earlier. So a new
Yeah.
technique, innovation which really helped him. That way he started writing his name, address, and mobile numbers. And whenever during the day his younger brother, who is 3 years younger to him, had time, he would go for exercise, in an area which is within the society. Evenings were for walk and cycling with Papa after he was done with his office work. So all the stress was not coming to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
Very
was
true.
collaborative effort of the family. And there
Mm,
were days, weekends, for example, what would we do? We never, watched serials for hours and hours. Also, we started playing games which earlier he used to enjoy, like carom board, like darts. So there was newfound interest in many things. He had never played playing cards. We started from simple games to little complex where he could understand. And where he could not, we gave him a role of like a banker. You give tokens and then we will do. So somewhere he felt that he is very much into these activities. So parents have to understand that our children or our adults might not be able to contribute in discussions, but they have this sense of
yeah.
belonging. And we start
Yeah.
from home. As we say, charity begins from home, inclusion begins from home. Make them a
Yeah.
part of your conversations and
Yeah.
give them that agency. Let them make some choice. And you will see that definitely they will give in their best and wonders will happen.
Yeah. While you touched on inclusion, one something that I have noticed, Preeti, um, so I stay in Bangalore. I've gone and seen lots of inclusive schools or special schools, but to my surprise, I have normally not seen older students in school. So when
Hmm.
it comes to, let's say, any child over probably 11 years of age, probably when they have to enter senior secondary, senior school, I'd see a massive dropout. I
Hmm.
want to hear from you as a professional and also as a parent that what are the biggest gaps you see in this transition in India, and how do you think parents can start preparing in case the system is not ready? They can't keep continuing to blame the system and wait and let the child suffer. So what can they do by themselves to be more prepared for this when the child hits the teenage year?
Yeah. So, first, I'll share my experience as a parent. So while I had enrolled him in a school which had a special section, special educators taking care of everything, there were certain key areas where I thought he would require more inputs, like language, like fitness. So his classes outside of the school also continued. Because my premise was that I have to continue giving him the inputs, and the output is going to come someday,
Hmm.
sooner or
Hmm.
later. So you cannot just, enrolling in a school, no extra support, expect the child will be able to do or transition to higher grades with ease. So each child has his own needs. As parents, we are much aware of what they need. The right support has to come at the right time to help them succeed. We see dropouts because the children are not able to manage only these
Hmm.
5 6 hours in school. What is happening with them when they are at home? Is their
Hmm.
day structured? Are they being given responsibility at home? Are they getting extra help or support in the areas where they need? Certain things they cannot take up as neurotypicals do.
Hmm.
The growth trajectory is very different, and we have to recognize as parents that we need to give them as much support as at the right time. And if somewhere this is lacking, then we might not see transition happening, we might see dropouts. And children actually, it's very hard to motivate them, and once they go into their shell, bringing them
Yeah.
back is in fact difficult. We have to see that, dignity is very important, respect is
Yeah.
important. So, for Abhigyan, autism cannot define him. He's much more
Hmm.
than autism. We have to treat him like an individual. He's defined by his strengths and his personalities. And as parents, we need to remember this.
Yeah.
Now, as a professional, if I say that children keep coming, and the kind of support that is given in schools, especially in schools like ours, we give very intensive support to children with special needs. We have special educators aligned to grades inside of classrooms, outside of classrooms. Remedial support is given. Then we also hold meetings with parents at you know um, quite frequently to tell them about the journey and how are we able to help him, whatever cooperation we need from the parent side. So we work in collaboration.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is very important that parents and schools work in collaboration to help the child succeed and go on. And if we talk about children with the moderate to severe needs, if they're not able to, go ahead in the curriculum that is offered by the school, there are options like NIOS where they
Yeah.
can learn at their own pace. So they are not that much stressed. Parents also don't have anxiety. When the child is ready to give exam for one subject, he can appear. Many other provisions are there. So there are different ways of how we can support them to get formal education as long as they can, as long as it can benefit. And also for different children, the stage of giving them training for a vocation may come at different age. A child might be ready for pre-vocational at the age of 13. Another person might not have those basic
Hmm.
skills and will
Hmm.
struggle to even enter a pre-vocational program at the age of 20.
Hmm.
So it's for us to see where the child readiness is there or not. And if we are having a clear plan of action for him, we have to see whether adequate support is being offered to him to move that path or not.
Yeah. I want to actually come to you as a parent now, as a mother first, as the primary caregiver. I know that you write blogs, but I want to go a little deeper and ask you that what role does this writing play for you? Does it work as healing or advocacy or reflection? How does it work for you? And how do you suggest this to more parents that they should also be doing this? Because I'm here somewhere tapping your mental health also.
Yeah. So my purpose of entering this profession as being a special educator is not about my career alone. It is personal. And it is lived 24 by 7. I'm living this. And I have made a goal for myself that, whatever little I know in this field and whatever my experiences of being a mother 24 by 7 and my professional
Hmm.
experiences I need to share those. I need to give them back to the society. And that's my way of giving it back. We need to raise awareness. We also need to see as parents that we are not alone. Many other parents are walking the same path. So if you are stressed out, if you are anxious, reach out, share about your worries. There will be someone to help you. By writing these blogs, which were about my real life experiences with Abhigyan, I thought there are certain aspects of autism which people are not aware of, and I should make the larger community aware of those. For example, since most of our children, you would see कोई चीज अगर वो देखेंगे अधूरी है तो उसको पूरा करना चाहते हैं. So this was a real experience when I was out about 5-6 years back. Abhiyan was cycling. That was the time when between two waves we were allowed to cycle within the school community. He saw that on the ground floor flat of another tower, the mesh was open, the window was open, and he thought somebody might have forgotten to close it. Without being able to see that there's another person on the other side sitting and doing his work on the laptop, he went, he parked his cycle, closed it, and came back. So this gentleman came to me. I could figure out that something is amiss, something has happened. So I, being my natural self, I apologized. I said, "Is there some inconvenience that has been caused to you? Let me know." सो ही टोल्ड मी कि ऐसे इसने खिड़की बंद कर दी. मैंने खोली थी कि हवा आए, लेकिन इसने आकर उसको बंद कर दिया. आई टोल्ड हिम अबाउट अभिज्ञान's कंडीशन, एंड in fact he was so sensitive that he became apologetic. Oh, I didn't know about it. So maybe he was trying to figure out कि किसी का कुछ काम अधूरा है तो मैं उसको पूरा कर दूं. So while coming back on his limo, which was his cycle, I told him, बेटा ये अलाउड नहीं है, आप अपने घर में क्लोज कर सकते हो विंडोज और डोर्स, बट सबके नहीं क्लोज करने होते. And the moment we entered our tower, the guard was sitting, खुला था, उसे बंद किया, बोला मच्छर अंदर आ जाएगा. So, they cannot see the boundaries between mine and others. What they are, because they are pure hearts. No malice, no manipulation, no negative feelings. They want to do good for the society. And if he could actually, over years, we had told him, जाली का दरवाजा बंद करो, मच्छर आ जाएगा, शाम हो रही है, ये time होता है मच्छर आने का. Somewhere it has stayed with him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So things
Yeah.
like that, these kind of experiences I want to share with parents. And we have to see the positive side of our children. Lot more is there within them, and not focus on the deficits. We have to work on their strengths. They are human beings first, and give
Yeah,
them that respect, give them that dignity, and that independence will surely come.
yeah. I want to stay at you only right now. Now, you, your husband, you guys as a family, as a unit, that I'm sure you also would have been approached, or maybe in your community, this discussion would have come up that as parents of adult children, the question of long-term security, that,
Hmm.
what is going to happen? How will they live independently? Will they take care of themselves? Who will take care of them? What happens when we are not around? So give me a response to this. What goes on in your head, or what does your set of community members, how do you approach this topic?
Hmm. So, what will happen after us? We actually approach this topic by first securing the present.
Mm,
So, if we know that now the child's school age has ended, whatever learning could happen has happened,
mm,
wherever he went for learning for a vocation has also happened. Now we have to find out a place where he can be a part of and be a contributing member of that place. So venture like Abhigyan's Kitchen is not the only thing that he does.
mm,
He also goes to my school and he helps the librarian. He also assists the occupational therapists. So my long-term goal is that he should go to a place where he can contribute productively. He is given that respect and the way any other member of that community is. And along with that, something else like Abhigyan's Kitchen, a parallel thing we've started, because we expect that it will go for a long time and we'll keep on adding new things to it. At the same time, whatever monetary gains we are getting from these things, we are actually saving it. We feel that it should not be that his brother has to take care of his future needs. Being parents, we are going to financially secure him. For that, we have opened a trust. My husband and me, we are two members of that trust, and we are routing the financial security through the trust. Also, there are many projects that we came to know of. One being in Hyderabad, where there is a community of living for parents along with the children. The purpose is to secure the parents and to help them get off this worry, what after us. So there are, I have seen, we have not enrolled for any such option right now, but maybe 10 years down the line, if we want, we will go in for this, where there's security as to if the child is at a stage that he needs a lot of caregiving in the future years also. And we expect that, any of the siblings should not be attach that extra responsibility, because the sibling will have his or her own life. Definitely, supervision can be done, but on a day to day basis, whatever support is required, the sibling might not have that bandwidth.
Yeah,
So, entering into projects like these, which take care of adult living,
yeah,
along with the times when you are when you grow old, but because of illness, you might be hospitalized, or you have to travel for some emergency situation and you can't take the child or adult along with you. So there's someone to take care. So there are
yeah,
models.
yeah,
Hyderabad was the first
yeah,
one to start by Autism Ashram, and many such have been
yeah,
replicated.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very true. No, I've also heard of a few myself. While I know there are limited beds, limited rooms,
Mm.
but that is definitely an option. There is something I was speaking to this very old and established renowned organization in the US. What they do is they are preparing professional neuro caregivers who can
Mm.
come and stay with such families at home. It is like this young adult or this teenager grows old with that person in a way. So
Mhm.
it is like you do have somebody you can trust, like some Didi, some Bhaiya, but that person is professionally trained to manage a neurodiverse individual, their emotional regulation or their moods, maybe their aggression, maybe their daily needs, daily activities, like a chaperone,
Mm.
somebody who's like a professional, not just somebody you trust, but also somebody who's trained in this space. So we are working on this. I mean, we are exploring this right now because I feel like you said that such amazing places which are coming up will still be so limited and few because of real estate involved, that there will have to be many, many more such models to come up and support these individuals. But now, Preeti, before I end, my last question to you is, over these 23 years of journey, what is your message to parents? Now, when you look back for the present, your past, your future, what is it that you want to say to the parents?
Okay, so first message is that you are not alone in this journey. As I already shared, there are many people walking that path. So do reach out, share, ask for help wherever it is needed. Second is that there are smaller things, smaller wins that you should celebrate, not look for bigger milestones. That we know that progress is going to happen in autism, it might be invisible. So look for those small achievements and find joy in those.
Mm,
Third, most important, routines. Work very well with our children. COVID, for example, I told you, we had a routine. On other
mm,
days also, regular days, if you have routines, structure, you give predictability, you will see progress happening.
mm.
And it is actually the same for us. If we know what's going to happen tomorrow or day after for us, we are better planned, better aligned.
Yeah, yeah.
Same for children with autism. And most importantly, you have to take care of your own mental health. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So take care of yourself. Whatever you find happiness is, whether it's yoga, exercise, reading, you know, somewhere down the line you will feel you are guilty, you've not done enough. But that guilt, that self
Mm,
guilt is common. It happens to every person, happens to me
yeah.
also, even at this juncture. But at the same time, we also need to know that whatever best we can give only if we are taking care of our own mental health.
Mm,
So that's most important for parents. At the same time, I have a message for professionals like me also. You know, we have to see whenever we are meeting a parent or a student that there is an invisible story behind every child. So in IEP meetings or for assessments, we need to be mindful and empathetic about it. And I feel parents, they are experts on their children. So rather than giving advice, listen to them, listen to their side of the story as well, and work in collaboration with the parents. And most importantly, for professional, I will say that you have to work on the strengths of the child and not focus on the deficits. centrally giving respect to the child, giving him a life of dignity, and not prompting him too much that independence becomes a struggle for him is also the responsibility of people in the special education sector. So for me, this is not a profession. It is what I'm living 24 by 7.
Mm,
As I told you, it's a purpose. And definitely, we have to come from that place that we create spaces which are safe to a situation where we feel that our children belong, our adults belong. A sense of belongingness is most important, I feel.
yeah. Beautiful, beautiful note. I think your first three, 4 points were just very spot on about having a routine. This is something that I have also learned talking to parents, talking to professionals. Small wins. The previous parent who came said exactly the same thing. She stressed on it very heavily. And I think that keeps you happy. Your own personal mental health, I think that's extremely important. And not just, I don't think it's really about neurodiversity, but as mothers, especially, I feel that you're constantly living in a guilt, even if you're enjoying some time off, that you're not doing enough. So I personally feel that all these things I wouldn't say are very specific to neurodiversity, but what I learn as a parent is it's very important for me to follow these even for my own children, that I can't wait for the day when they achieve this XYZ milestone,
Hmm.
whereas not give much heed to what they're doing every day. So I think being extremely observant and involved and not being, like you said, that's so important, that not prompting them enough to make them so dependent, yet being there in the boundary to give them support. I think that's a very fine balance, which as a parent, you know. I mean, there's
Absolutely.
no right answer to it, but so I think this will be a very important conversation that parents will listen to. I look forward to sharing it with them in the coming week. And who I'm very surprised today that normally the kind of questions I see in the chat are around my child is not talking. When do you think my child will begin to talk? I'm very happy to not see that question here today. I think parents have really listened to what you have said. And but if you do get any questions relevant to, adulthood or teenage years, we will pass it on to you if you would, from
Sure.
both your parental cap and your professional cap, if you would respond. So thank you so much, Preeti, for today.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank
I
you.
enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay, there's some comments for you, which we'll send you a screenshot of later.
All right. Thank you, everyone,
Okay.
for your time. And thank you, Vandita, for this opportunity once again.
Yeah,
And
thank you so
gratitude to
much.
all
Yeah.
of to the gratitude to everyone who's a part of my journey and my son's journey.
Yeah, absolutely. True. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Preeti. So we'll be in touch. We'll share this with you and we'll share it with all the parental community. Wherever you wish to post, you can post.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you,
Nice talking
Preeti.
to you. Bye bye.
Yeah, likewise. Bye-bye.